Mm. So 6 reasons to study Vedas. Why should we study Vedas? This is our very important thing, because the whole Indian philosophy, starting from Vedas, Vedic philosophy, all the Samhitas, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishads, and the literature that followed Vedas, all the 6 Shadangas, and all the Puranas, Itihasas, Ramayana, and all other philosophies, they all depend on the authority of Vedas. Even if we can take Jaina and Bauddha tradition, it all came from Vedic tradition, Vedic literature. So the whatever religion that has come out in the whatever dharma, whatever sampradaya that is uh, that is in Bharata Desha has its roots in the Vedas. So now we are going to see why should we study Vedas? Because many people, they think there is no need to study Veda, and we have moved away from these Vedas and Shastras long ago. So we should understand and make others understand what is the need of the study of Vedas. So we'll see one and again. Many people, they wanted to discredit Vedic texts outside people, not Buddha, but many people, those who followed Buddha, they wanted to discredit Vedas, but they could not do it. Just they said Vedas, they don't have much relevance to the modern people or whatever they said, but they could not succeed in creating skepticism about Vedas in Indian mind. But Western Indologists, they are very much successful in creating kind of skepticism in the Indian minds by misinterpreting and mistranslating all the Vedic texts. So we should understand what is the meaning of Veda and how Vedas are still relevant to all of us. So if we can see some of the statements of modern times, the Shrutis, Vedas, and Smritis were part of Brahmanical attempt at creating texts which would rationalize inequality and thus perpetuating their dominance. So it is all very clear. We have got to apply the dynamite to the Vedas and Shastras, which deny any part of reason, to the Vedas and Shastras, which deny any part of morality. Vedas, Shastras, and Puranas, which are treated and sacred and authoritative, must by law cease to be so, and the preaching of any doctrine, religious or social content in this book should be penalized. Some of the opinions in the modern times that we can see here, and these modern Indian opinions have their root in Western Indology. Some of we can see here. It is clear from the earliest compositions that they were the prized possession of small tribal groups, families or clans, hunter-gatherers, and pastoralists who avoided forests and followed the course of rivers before they settled down. Is fid stall on the mantras. And if you who passed away recently in last 10-15 years, and if we can see, if we see the Max Muller, it says large number of Vedic hymns are childish, in the extreme, tedious, low, and commonplace. It is one of his opinions. The Max Muller says again, this edition of mine and the translation of Veda will hereafter tell a great extent on the fate of India. It is the root of the religion, and to show them what the root is, I feel sure it is only way of uprooting all that has sprung from it during the last 3,000 years. It is by Max Muller, who wanted to uproot what these Vedas and what these philosophies say, and how Indian people wanted to live, and they lived, and they were living. Now we are living, and we will live. But these people, they want to destroy such a lifestyle and make us follow the commercial American or maybe Western lifestyle. And by following it, we'll be in deep troubles in our life, not only in this life, in the coming lives and afterlives also. So it is very difficult to understand, very important to understand what these authors they had there in mind. And it is true, the authors of these hymns rise extremely seldom to the exalted plight and deep fervor of, say, the religious poetry of Hebrews. It is by Maurice Winternitz. So, if you see what they want to convey, they want to convey that these Vedic texts, they have nothing to offer. They are all childish utterings. Don't believe them. And they create some kind of illusions in your mind, misunderstanding of the things in your mind. So it should be, one should not believe in all these things. So it is their intention. So following these intentions, our own people, they also had some kind of misunderstanding of the Vedic texts. So it is very important to understand what is the intention of Vedas and how Vedas will help us. So slowly we will see. So first reason is ethics of life. What Vedas offer is a ethical life, which you can't find in any other text unless it follows Vedas. So ahimsa, don't trouble others. Satya, always you should be speaking truth. And asteya, you should not steal away others' properties. Shaucha, you should be always clean. I request all of you to mute yourself, so there will not be any trouble in recording also. Okay. Mute everybody. And Indriya Nigraha. Shaucha and Indriya Nigraha, you should have control over your senses, your limbs, and your whims and fancies, so the other people will not be troubled with your things. And this is very important thing. So Indriya Nigraha. These are all things are found in Vedas. Nobody in the world will tell you about these ethics. These modern leaders, the so-called self-proclaimed leaders, they have all lost their ways, being carried away by the Western propaganda. Nobody talks about Satya, Ahimsa, Asteya, Shaucha, controlling all these things. So see how Vedas, they prescribe such a rule for all the humans in this world. Mahim syat sarva bhutani, one should not trouble any living being. That is found in the Taittiriya. Satyam vada dharmanchara, satyanna pramaditavyam. Satyam vada, you should always tell only truth. You should always follow the path of dharma. You should not follow from the Satya. Always you should be aspiring to tell the Satya. So nobody should unmute by themselves. Anil Kumar also, please, I request Anil Kumar to mute yourself. Nobody should unmute it. And greed. The problems of greed are very well known all over the world, especially in India. Now, Ishavasya sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena bhunjitha magradha kasya svidhanam. It is Madhyandina Samhita, Ishavasya Upanishad, very well known mantra. It says the whole world is in abode of Isha. There is nothing left that is not in abode of Isha. So it is the property of God. Whatever the property he gives you, you should enjoy that property. You should enjoy that much of things that are given to you by God. Don't steal anybody else's money. So the Vedas, they have got this all-time rules. These rules cannot be violated at any time. No time it can be, these rules can be violated. Sarvabhauma Mahavrata it is. So then Shaucha, there are so many things about Shaucha. Shaucha is the cleanliness. One should be always clean in his mind, in his body, in his words. So Nashlilam Kirtayat, one should not speak about such nonsense things always. This is Shaucha. And Indriya Nigraha, Nasuram Pipet. Akshayar Madhav, Nasuram Pipet, you should not drink alcohol. You should not consume it. This is Nasuram Pipet. And then comes this Akshayar Madhav, you should not resort to gambling. That will harm you. So these kinds of Updeshas are there in the Veda. Please mute yourself, sir. So, in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, we find a famous verse where Brahmaji uttered the all the Manushas and Asuras and Devas, they went to Brahma to give us advice on the life. So Brahmaji only uttered the. What is the? They understood it. Damyata datta dayadhvam. Damyata, you should have control over your limbs. This is advice to the Devatas, because Devatas, they have got enough wealth and riches, they have got enough power. They should not cross over the limit of the power. That is why Brahmaji advised these people, Damyata, you should have control over your limbs. And for the man, the advice of Brahmaji is Datta, you should give away the extra thing that you have. And for the Asuras, it is the advice of Dayadhvam, you should be having compassion over the people, because many people, they have got. I request all of you to mute yourself. There should not be any problem. So they are very much cruel, these people. That's why you should have compassion over the people. That's why Dayadhvam. So these three things are given to these three advices are given to Devatas and Manushas and Asuras. But it applies to the humans also, because humans also we have these three kinds. There is one always good, powerful, rich, and there are some common people, and there are cruel people. So all these people, they should practice Dhamma, Dana, and Daya. And for the Dharma, we should be always careful about Dharma. Dharmanna pramaditavyam, Satyanna pramaditavyam. We cannot cross the way of Dharma. Always should we follow Dharma route. Kushalana pramaditavyam. We should think over what will be beneficial to us. We should not cross over that thing. Bhutyena pramaditavyam. And we should earn money in the legal way or in an ethical way. There are many legal ways which are unethical, but it is very important to understand that ethical way should be there. So the Veda says you should not leave away the Swadhyaya and Pravachana, Deva Pitrakarya, and you should be always respectful to your mother, your father, your gurus, your guests. Yanyanavadhyani karmani tani sevitavyani no itarani. You should always practice which are good to the humankind, which are not sinful. Only that kind of activities you should follow. Should not follow the other activities which are harmful to others. So these are all found in the Taittiriya. And one should have control over lust. That is very important thing. One person who is in the wedlock or who is not in the wedlock, but should not pass over the boundary of the marriage. Should not stalk over the other people's wives. The Rgveda says, Yastva bhrata patir bhutva jaro bhutva nipadyate. Somebody else, he wants to stalk over the woman, married woman. Prajam yaste jighamsati tamito nashayamasi. We will destroy him. That should not be allowed. And a married life is permanent. There is no question of abandoning the married life in between. Swat said in the Rgveda, Yahayavastam ma viyostam. We should be here. We couple, we should be here. Should not be separated at all. Vishwamayur Vishnutam will enjoy, experience, and spend our whole life in this house. Kridanto putraihi naptrabhi. We should be enjoying our time with our sons and our grandsons. Modavanos Vegrahe. We should be here in our own home. We should not leave away. So one person who is married, he should be always married. He should not leave away that wife or the another younger spouse or something like that. It should be abundant. One should have control over his indriyas. He should control over the lust. But what is happening now, when we have forgotten the advices of Vedas, now the Hollywood and Bollywood and all cinemas, all social media, all the newspapers, they want to show us. They have been showing all the unrealistic, fantasyful portrayal of both men and women, selling body for the money and fame. So this kind of unrealistic picturization of women is pushing them towards difficulties. Not only women, but men also. Rapes and trivialization of the ugly or not so beautiful people and body shaming. And the one of the biggest problem that is happening is there is no um, possibility, there is no acceptance of flirting with others' spouses, the extramarital affairs, cheating of partners. These are all not at all allowed in the Vedic um, dharma. But now we are following the Bollywood dharma that is creating all these things. They want to um, show, they want to portray that flirting with others, that is okay. Extramarital affairs are okay. Divorces are okay. Going for the second and third marriages are okay. And what they are showing, robbery, murder, etc., stalking women, creating hostility with girls and boys, families, all these things are shown in the media, cinema, and all over the mass media. So that should be avoided. It is the one very important advice of Vedas and the prescription of Vedas to live a happy life. Magratava kashta siddhanam. You should not steal away money of people. So greed, the main problem that is India facing, that is greed, greed, greed. Everybody is going to have earn by hook or crook more money, even at the cost of destruction of the society and environment, producing things which are injurious to health, creating unnecessary consumerism, alcohol, junk food, packed food, all this in Pepsi, Cola, etc., etc. They should be avoided. One should live a happy life. He may not be very much rich, but he should live his life happily. But unfortunately, when we follow the global powers, global influences, Western commercialization, I Western commercialization, then we are falling into the trap of this consumerism, and we'll be having so much of difficulties here and where. That should be avoided. That is one. These ethics can be taught only by Vedas. There is no other thing that will teach these ethics of life. For that also, for at least this reason, you should be respecting Vedas, you should be reading Vedas. And the second is the reason to philosophy of life and death. So one person living in this world should live ethically. He should make himself happy and others also happy. But what should be the philosophy of his life? The main philosophy of all the Vedas, Upanishads, and all the Indian literature, Vedic and allied literature, and even if you take Buddhism and Jainism, it is you are born here because of your previous karmas, and you are here, you are enjoying or experiencing whatever the results of your deeds, either good or bad, and you have to perform good deeds here to get a good life after your death. Again, it all depends on the karma. What kind of karma you perform, you will be getting such things in your life. So this is not a single accidental birth here. It is a continuous process of life and death. And at the end of the cycle, you should be able to reach God. You should not forget about all these things. So when one person is aware of this kind of philosophy of Punarjanma, philosophy of Karma Siddhanta, he will be always worried about what problems will arise if we commit a mistake. All the crimes cannot be prevented only because of the rules in the books. People around us, not all of them are afraid of the rules, the constitution or the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita or IPC or whatever. They are not committing these crimes because they are not concerned about these rules, but they are all concerned about the paraloka. So many people, which even may be legal, but they are unethical, adharmic. such things are not committed by the people who are aware of the Punarjanma and what Janma that we will have, such all these things. So it is the Punarjanma philosophy of life and death is very important thing to prevent the spreading of the crimes and all other things. So you can summarize it in the sentence of Sri Jaitirtha, the famous philosopher. So he is in conversation with Charvakas. He said, okay, if there is no dharma and adharma, the Charvaka says there is no adharma, there is no dharma. Everything is dharma, everything is possible, legal. Whatever is legal, please do it. Die. There is no life after death. Don't worry. All these things that Charvaka has said. Jaitirtha, Sri Jaitirtha Acharya, he answered this question by telling, if there is no dharma and adharma, then everybody will be stealing your property also. They will be stealing the property of each others, and there will be big chaos and destruction in the society. So you should accept there is a dharma and there is adharma, and we should follow dharma, and we should refrain ourselves from following the adharma. So you should accept dharma and adharma, but even if you think that the notion of dharma is a kind of illusion, as many Western people say, the religion is a kind of illusion created by these people. Okay, even if you think that this is illusion, the notion of dharma and adharma is illusion, but still it is preventing many crimes, and it is creating a kind of vyavastha in this world. So it is preventing so much of difficulties in our life. But if there is no notion of dharma and adharma, everybody will be stealing away the money and the women and all other kinds of properties in this world. So there will be a situation, very difficult situation. The looting, the whole nation will be in the looting and anarchy, chaos, etc. So this notion is very important. So then Charvaka asks, but even if there is no dharma and adharma, but still this kind of anarchy and destruction is not happening. Even Charvaka, I accept that there is no dharma and adharma, but still there is no such a kind of anarchy, destruction. Jaitirthacharya says, yes, of course, that is not happening because the astika darshanas are there. They are preventing people from, they are teaching people that this is dharma and this is adharma. You should not do adharma, you should follow dharma. So when you follow dharma, or if you have got this notion of dharma in your mind, automatically you are refraining yourself from many things which are maybe legal but unethical or dharmic. Because of this notion is there that is created by these astika darshanas, nobody is, all the people in this Bharata Desha, they are not resorting to this kind of nonsense things. But tadunmulanarthascha parasya prayatna. But these, the hedonists or whatever, the Charvakas, or the modern imperialists, or the Western notion of what we can call this Western concept of free life, that is trying to destroy this notion of dharma. If this notion of dharma is destroyed, then automatically there will be chaos and anarchy. But they were not successful till 40, 50 years ago. But now, more and more, it seems they are able to create some kind of destroying the notion of dharma and adharma in the Indian people. That's why it is happening. It is the rate of crime, rate of divorce, and all things are increasing in this world. So we should resist this kind of increase in the rates of crimes, etc., by telling the people that this is the way one should live and should not live. Then we will be in a safe situation. And reason third is the history of us people. Who are us? We are the people of this land. But even now we are forced to believe that we have come from elsewhere. But we are the residents of this country from time immemorial, maybe 10,000, 15,000, maybe 1 lakh, who knows? But certainly we have not come from the Middle East or the Turkey, Anatolia, or whatever the way this Indologists say. This country has got a very long, continuous civilization, and that civilization is recorded in all these Vedas, all these Upanishads, all these different Puranas. Even in Vedas, we see the Bharatas, Purus, and Yayati, all these names we see in the Vedas. So it means that these are the people who are there in India, and this is the kings and the queens of this India. It will be understood. This kind of history will be understood only through this Vedas and nothing else, because all history books, they don't tell this history. For Aitareya Brahmana, it says, एतेन महा इंद्रेण महाभिषेकेण तुरः काविषयः जनमेजयं पारीक्षितम् अभिषेचे च. Aitareya Brahmana, which is the text that has appeared around 5,000 years ago, that speaks about the Kavashaya who is anointing the Janamejaya Parikshita, the Janamejaya son of Parikshit. And in the same manner, there is Ambushtya, there is Yodham Shreshti, there is Vishwakarma Bhuvana, there is Sudasa, Pejavana, Marutta Avikshita, Anga, Bharata Daushanti. All these kings' names are mentioned in the Aitareya Brahmana. So that should be the history of India. And all the Upanishads, they mention 40 to 50 rishis who have passed these vidyas to next generations, which these lists in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and other Vamsha Brahmanas, they count for around 45 to 55. So if we take 30 years for one generation, then at least it will some 40, 45 generation, 55 generation, it will take around 2000, 2500 years of history from the date of the so-called date of composition of Upanishads. Many people, they claim that the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is dated around 7th century BC. So this Upanishad itself speaks about 45 and 55 generations of Acharyas, which makes that, which clears that this is the inherited teachings of all these rishis. It is not a creation of single Yajnavalkya or any other rishi. So this kind of history where you don't get it anywhere in history books. You will be fooled to believe what modern history is. They say only from the 3,327 BC, where Alexander the Great came here and invaded India and Puru and all other things. We will be in total darkness about the real history of India. So the Parikshit, Manava Sharyati, Satyajit, son of Shatanika, all these things are mentioned in this texts, Vedic texts, and Rama and Krishna are mentioned in the Vedic texts. And Puranas, they speak much more about this history of Indian people. How this language, Sanskrit language, spread to other parts of the world. Suppose even if you see English, French, and German, all these languages, they have got similar words to that of Sanskrit. Brother, mother, father, sister. Some 45, 42% words are same in the Greek language, estimated by some people. So how this kind of similarity is possible between the two distant languages? One is happening in India and other languages are far away in the European countries. How this is possible? This happened, this similarity is caused by the continuous rule of Kshatriyas in these European countries. The Druhyu's progeny, his descendants, many people, Pracheta, there's one Pracheta who was the descendant of Druhyu, the son of Yayati. And this Pracheta had got 100 sons, and these 100 sons, they invaded northern countries and they became kings there. They made their kingdoms there and they stayed there for long. And they extended their kingdoms to the whole of Europe. That's why still such kind of influences are found there. But what happened to these people? Why they forgot that they were the Kshatriyas, they were the descendants of these Pruthvi and Prajatas? This is the one problem that we need to focus very much. One person goes to America now. So that person is there in America or in the Mexico or in the Canada or whatever country. So for the first generation, he is born and raised in India. He lived in India for 25 years or 30 years. We can take. Then he migrated to one country. So he has strong roots in the culture of this India. Now he migrated there, but still he is following whatever the culture that he has got here in India. But he is married to the girl there, and his children, they follow half of the Indian culture and half of the local culture, and their grandsons, they they may follow a few things, a few cultural things of India, and mostly the local things, and the descendants, the coming generations, they will forget once for all that they were the descendants of India. This is all mentioned in the Mahabharata, in our Manusmriti, and all other things. मेकलाः द्राविडाः लाटाः पौण्ड्राः कण्वशिरास्तथा शौण्डिकाः दरदाः दार्वाः चौराः शबरबर्बराः किरातयवनाश्चैव तास्ताः क्षत्रियजातयः वृषलत्वम् अनुप्राप्ताः ब्राह्मणानाम् अदर्शनात्. Because there was nobody else to teach them the culture of India, they became local people. शनकैस्तु क्रियालोपात् इमाः क्षत्रियजातयः. Slowly these kshatriyas who are ruling these countries, they became local, or they assimilated themselves in the local culture, because kriyalopa, because they forgot to follow the dharma, and also brahmananadama adarshanath, there was nobody else to teach them. These people, Pauntrikaha, Chautra Dravidaha, Kambochaha, Yavanaha, Shakaha, Yavanas, Shakas, Paradas, Pallavas, Chinas, Kiratas, Darada, and Kasha, and all the people are counted in the Manusmriti. So who is there to tell you about this real history? That you'll be able to understand this history only from the Vedas. And now we come to the history of sciences in Vedas. What we find, many historical or scientific things in the Vedas, the scientific heritage that is found in the Vedas, many things are coming to the fore because of the modern facilities or whatever, maybe our continuous efforts. For example, the Taittiriya Samhita, which mentions Shishumara and Dhruva. There is a big constellation in the form of a Shishumara, the one fish-like creature in the water, and in which the Dhruva is there in a prominent position. So that Dhruva, it was a star which was consistent in the North Pole. So it was the pole star in the 3100 BC. That is 5,000 years from now. 5,000 years ago, back from now. So that Dhruva, the Dhruva Nakshatra is mentioned in the Taittiriya Samhita, which was consistent, which was always there. But slowly it started to move away from the North Pole. So slowly the Maitrayani Aranyaka, it mentions Dhruvasya Prachalanam. So the Dhruva is moving away from its constant position. Now what is happening? Everything is changing. That is the one kind of the problems they were facing in the Maitrayani Aranyaka. So such things you should understand only from the Vedas. And all the Vedic mantras, they were used for the time measurement. That is also very interestingly pointed out by Professor R.N. Iyengar in his the paper is found in the Academy Aju. Interested people, they can see there. Dhruva and Shishumara is also pointed out by Professor R.N. Iyengar. We should thank him for the very interesting, and this fact is very much important in the history of India, history of science, history of Vedas, and how Darsha Purnamasa, Somayaga, Gavamayana, etc. they are performed. Why these are performed? What is the science behind it? These are all coming into light by the continuous efforts of Professor Aranya. So this is understandable only from the Vedas. There is no other way. And when we come to the reason number 4, it is the science of mantras itself. Science in mantras that we have seen earlier, but now it is the science of mantras. How these mantras have got a science in them. What is the effect these mantras create on the human mind? These are all analyzed by many people. A neuroscientist explores the Sanskrit effect, James Russell, how the continuous chanting of Vedas creates some gray, the expansion of gray area in our back brain. It is analyzed by James Herschel. Extensive long-term verbal memory training is associated with brain plasticity by Uttam Kumar and others. These are all found in the biological institution, government of India's research. The impact of Vedic chanting intervention on sustained attention and working memory by Sri Raksha Srinivasan. It is also found in the website of all these government institutions. So now, a tip we are saying, but it is only a tip of a bigger iceberg. We should understand with the continued efforts and use of modern equipments what these Vedas contain, what the science these Vedas contain. We should be able to understand. And we are coming to the end of our lecture now. The reason 5 is Aihika results. We go to the temples, we perform yajnas, we do this or that rituals prescribed in the Vedas. That kind of results are obtained not only by the Astika Hindus, but also from the other people who follow other religions, other dharmas, other sampradayas. Everybody is very much benefited by this yajnas and all other different kinds of devata aradhana. So unfortunately, this has become very seen. Sorry. The reason 6 is why you should study Veda is this is ultimate thing. We should be able to attain moksha only with the study of Vedas. We will be able to understand the real nature of Brahman. Atma vare drashtavya, shrotavya mantavya, nididhyasitavya. We should have a kind of dhyana, long time dhyana, then we will be able to understand this Brahman and we will be free from all these worldly problems. It is very much detailed in all the Vedas. We should not go for the details here. So here I end my lecture with this much of.
Thank you very much, Acharya. It was a very enlightening series of presentation on your speech. Acharya, I had this doubt. See, if especially in the current times, right? Sometimes it seems that portions of the Vedas are not as relevant as they used to be earlier. Now, let's say we have modern medicine and Ayurveda is not that relevant. We are able to see it in the results as well. Our modern medicine gives results and it is more scientific in a way, whereas the same result we are not able to achieve. So, but that is not supposed to be the case. Why did this happen? What is your opinion on this?
So, are you asking is it for the only Ayurveda or it should be extended to the?
No, let's say we extend it for other fields as well, other parts of our spiritual literature as well.
Our literature is around 3,000 or 4,000 years old, at least. So many conditions which may not be understood by us in preparing the medicines, preparing the formulas or understanding the formula, all these things they contribute in low effectiveness of these medicines, or may not be, it may be also reason that we are not updated in the few things. That also may be affecting us. In the same manner, of course, there are many things are said in the Vedas. Not all the results are obtainable by all or whatever immediately. So, why it is happening? The non-observance of results of Vedas, Vedic rituals. This is one question. Not only raised by now or you, it is raised by the Buddhists and many people around 2000 years ago also. So, a person who wants to have a son, he will perform Putra Kamishti Yaga, but Putra is not born or he is not able to produce a son. Then why this Vedic ritual is totally, it is waste, it is ineffective. So why should we perform this thing? And the Vedic sentence that prescribes such a Putrakamishti yaga is false. It is one claim. Of course, that is clear that there is no result, but you cannot claim that this Putrakamishti sentence itself is false statement, or it is a something a sentence with the misintention. So it is a sentence created by somebody else with the intention of pushing people towards maybe Andha Parampara or the darkness or something like that. Because the obtainance of results, it depends upon the person who performs the yajna, the purohit, and the conditions of the yajamana, how he performs all these things, and the prarabdha karmas of a person also. Because a prarabdha karma that may hinder the results. So we cannot be very much clear that kind of non-observance of results is maybe due to various reasons there. So we cannot be totally able to reject it. So still you are obtaining results with the Devata Aradhana, you're doing this homa, that homa. The whole India is engaged in all these kinds of homa. If there is no result, then why these people are engaged in these kinds of activities? So it should not demotivate us from observing these things, and we should try hard to obtain the results. That's what I feel, and it is the answer given by the Nayayikas, Mimamsakas, and all other texts are there. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Acharya.
Acharya, namaste. This is Srisha here, Acharya.
Okay.
Yeah, Acharya, just one question is, see, these, whatever Vedas, it is very sacred for us and it's very important. But when we go along the time, do we have to redefine it to the present situation of the society, or do we accept it as it is?
Redefining the Vedas or refashioning the Vedas, I don't think it is possible that we will be able to refashion it, because we should understand the nature of these Veda mantras, how these Veda mantras have come into life, whether they are created by somebody else, by in the lab or in the desk of a person who is going to write these Vedas by his own will. No, these Vedas, they are revealed to rishis who have performed long tapasya. So when they got that kind of tapasya, by the grace of God, these Vedas, they are revealed to these rishis. So we cannot change the sequence of these mantras or whatever. We cannot refashion them, but we can try to understand them in different ways. Maybe there may be many scientific things, maybe cultural things, maybe other things we may not be aware, because we are very small creatures in this bigger universe, biggest universe. We think we know everything, but that is not the case. We don't know what is happening in our own body, which cancer cells are growing in which part, we don't know. What is happening, where this is going, that is coming, we don't know. So, but we should understand, we should have a real effort to understand these mantras, but I don't think we will be able to redefine it.
Okay, thank you.
So one thing I want to point out, how these Vedas are revealed to rishis. These Vedas are sentences. So these sentences are deemed as apaurushaya. Nobody has created these sentences. Without anybody else's efforts, how these sentences can be formed? That is one big question faced by modern and as well as the older people. So the Nayayikas, they thought, the Nyaya school of philosophy thought that these Vedas are created by Ishvara. Surprisingly, everybody knows this Srinivas Ramanujam. He is a great mathematician. And how he got his mathematical skills, how he is inspired, or with whom he was studying this mathematics, who was helping him. Ramanujam himself, he claimed that the mother Namagiri Amma, she will appear in his dreams and she will give formulas to him that he will write down. But it does not mean that he did not know all these things. He understood these things, but he claimed formulas are given by Namagiriyamma. The Lakshmi who is in the Namakal, she is called Namagiriyamma. So she is revealing all these things. So it is written in the 19th century and well-known thing. When a person like Srinivas Ramanujam gets formulas from his Ishtadevata, then what is the problem with these rishis getting mantras from Bhagavan Vasudeva? We have seen such a wonderful thing in the Maharshi Daivrata's case. There was a person called, there was a great man, he was not a single person, he is a great Avadhuta called Maharshi Daivrata in Gokarna. And his guru is Kavikantha Asishta Ganapati Muni. And they were doing tapasya in the Gokarna. At the time, this Maharshi Devarata was nearly 19, 20 years old, but he did not know much about Vedas and all other things. But he was a born Avadhuta, so he was observing tapasya. And many Veda mantras, they came out of his mouth when he was doing tapasya. And these are all recorded by, not recording, means tape recorded, but recorded by his guru, taken note by his guru. And they are all published in a book called Chandodarshana. So how these mantras are not found in any other Rigveda, Yajurveda, etc. But these are all similar to the Veda mantras. I don't think it is his creation. These mantras are his creations. He has no willful effort to see or to visualize or to write all these things, but they all came from revelation. So why these are all revealed to Devrata? Why not Veeranarayana Pandurangi? Why not Nageshwara? We don't have that much of capacity, that's all. When Vishwamitra gets revelation of Gayatri Mantra, it is his tapasya, his hundreds of lives before and after that helps them, not us. We don't know in what situation we will be in next life or in our previous life. But in this life, we don't have that much of understanding or that much of fortune. This is what I can say.
ಸರ್ ಇದು ಒಂದೇ ಜನಾಂಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರ್ತಾ ಸರ್ ವೇದಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೇ ಒಬ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬ್ರಾಹ್ಮಣರೇ ಓದ್ಬೇಕು ಆತರ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ಯಾ ಆತರ ಏನು ಇಲ್ವಾ ಸರ್? ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಂಗಸರು ಓದ್ಬಾರ್ದ ಆತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಮಾಡಿ.
One thing, there are many rishikas in the Veda. Everybody knows Ghosha, Kakshivati, and Ambrani, etc. So many rishikas were there. So once upon a time, it was a practice that people of both genders, they studied Vedas. Later on, it receded due to various facts. But I don't think it is that much of prohibited. And these mantras for the welfare of the whole human beings, not only Brahmanas or the other so-called privileged groups. If they don't understand, these are all Vedas, they were in Sanskrit. The Sanskrit was speaking the local language at the time, but slowly Sanskrit slipped away from their tongue and Prakrit came, and now everybody is speaking Hindi. So these people, they will not understand the language of Vedas. So later on, many things came, like Puranas and all other different texts in local languages to help them, those people who don't understand the Vedas. So such things have come up. ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಮತ್ತೇನು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನು ಇದ್ದಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇವೆ.
ಸರ್ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರಾಕೃತ ಬಂದಿದ್ದ ಸರ್ ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ?
ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಈಗ ಪ್ರಾಕೃತದಿಂದನೇ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಬಹಳ ಮಂದಿ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲೂ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆನೂ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಇದ್ದು ಪ್ರಾಕೃತ ಆಯ್ತು, ಪ್ರಾಕೃತ ಇದ್ದು ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಸರ್ವೇಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. ಐ ಹೋಪ್